Hi soulmates, welcome to the part 2 of how to sew a dartless corset. If this is your first time of visiting my channel, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. So I went ahead to fold my organza into two so that I can cut my front piece. Remember, I joined the front piece together and it has become one. So I'll use 1.5-inch allowance round the bodies and around the cup. So after doing that, I went ahead to cut. You are going to be cutting 4 pieces. That is one corset mesh and like 3 skin mesh, right? You're going to be, let the skin mesh be your color. Make sure it is matching with your skin tone. So altogether you have like 4 front piece. So after cutting the front, I went ahead to cut my back using my pattern paper as well. I also went to add sewing allowance because I did not add sewing allowance on my pattern paper. So that is why I am adding sewing allowance directly on my fabric. So I went ahead to cut out my back. After doing that, I went back to the front piece. I placed each piece on each other. The first process is that you will place all your skin mesh on your corset your organza, right? You place the skin mesh on the organza and then you are going to pin it down. Make sure that it is very flat and then you will sew it round. After sewing it round, I went in with my ruler to draw straight lines on the front piece, just like the way you see me doing. This is how you are going to draw your straight lines on your front piece. This line is meant for the boning. It's like a boning channel where you sew your boning on. So you can draw as much as you like. If you want it more than this, you can do that. After doing that, I went ahead to cut many strips, 1 inch, like 1 inch. Your strip should be like 1 inch. Then I measured my boning to the exact length of each line, and then I folded I placed the boning inside of the strip, and then I sewed it inside of it, just like you see it. So I went ahead to sew it. After doing that, the next thing we are doing is to place our back piece the wrong side, facing the wrong side. You place the lining and the original fabric together, and then you will sew on top of it. After sewing, the next thing, I went ahead to fix my placket. So to get your placket, I actually got my placket is on fold 2.5 inch. So if you open it, it's going to be 5 inch. I fixed it into the back, the center of the back, and then I fixed it so that it will enter properly, and then I sewed on top of it. After sewing on top of it, you are going to sew like half inch straight stitch. As you can see on in the video, I made half inch straight stitch, which is going to be for the boning channel, and then the center will be for the eyelet. So I went ahead to fix my bonings into the channels I made. So for each channel you use about half an inch or more than half an inch, but it should not be up to half an inch. So it should not be up to 1 inch so that your boning can sit properly. So after doing that, the next thing we are going to do is to sew our back and front together. So you are going to place your back and your front together, wrong side facing the wrong side. So the back of your after doing that, you are just going to sew on it, and then after sewing on the side, you will trim it just like the way I went ahead to trim mine. So after trimming, the next thing we are doing is to check for the length of the boning that will be enough for the side, because you're going to be sewing a boning on that side for it to be firm. So I went ahead to check for the length of the boning, After checking that, I used a strip to cover the boning up, like 1 inch size of a strip, just like the way I folded it in with the boning. That is how you are going to do your own. So after I did that, I am going to sew the boning on that side that I sewed. Okay, so you are going to sew the boning on that side, the side that is in between the back and the front. Make sure that the seam is not showing, and make sure that as you are sewing, you're going to sew on both sides of the boning, right? So make sure as you are sewing, you are opening up your fabric so that it does not look tacky. Make sure you are always opening it, just like the way I am opening it. Yeah, that is what you are going to do. So you're just going to sew. Do not rush this process. Make sure to take your time so that it will look perfect. Okay, so remember, you are going to sew on both sides of the bonings. So after sewing, the next thing is to fix our yoke, the yoke of our back panel, right? So this is how you are going to place your yoke. You are going to place it downward, and you are going to sew it from the back. Just look at what I am doing. You will place it downward like this, and then you sew 1/2 inch. So I went ahead to my sewing machine to sew on it 1/2 inch. So after sewing, you are going to be using your strip to turn it over, right? So this is a strip like 1 inch. I will first of all sew the strip on top of where I sewed my yoke, right? You are just going to place it, and it should extend to the front, because the strip is you are going to use a strip to cover the front. So I went ahead to sew it down. You can see how I sewed it. So after sewing it like that, I'm going to turn it over to the front, and then I am going to sew. I am going to fold it in. I mean the strip. I am going to fold the strip in and then sew it 1/2 inch. So after I was done sewing, I misplaced the video where I fixed about 1.5 inch on the center, that bridge between the two sides of the cup. As you can see it, that black line there, I sewed a strip around it, and then I added a boning to give you structure. So after doing that, we are going to start fixing our cup. You first of all pin it down. You pin so you are going to pin your lining. That is that place that is caged. You are going to pin it first to the your pattern, your panel. Then you are going to pin it just like the way you saw me pinning it, and then you are going to sew it down. Okay, you make sure you are holding it together with the 1/2 inch of your main panel. You're just going to sew 1/2 inch round the cup together with your front panel where there's a space for your cup. So make sure this particular step, you need a lot of patience. You need to be very patient when you are sewing this, because of the boning that is there. It's going to be a little bit stressful for you, but you have to be very careful not to make any mistakes. Okay, so you just continue sewing it down. So after I was done sewing, I went in to tuck in the original front. That is the one that is outside. I went to tuck it in. I am going to be sewing on top of it, like very close at the edge of it. Make sure that it is not on top of it, but like at the edge of it. That is where you are going to be sewing. You'll be tucking it in by 1/2 inch, and then you are going to be sewing on it at the very edge of it so that it can look very neat. Please, at the edge, sew on the edge, just like the way you see me doing. So after that, I went ahead to cover up the downside of my corset, because I am using it for an inbuilt corset. So I do not want to leave it rough like that. I used about 2 inch, but I think you can use about 1 inch to cover up yours. So after sewing it from the back, I turned it to the front and then tucked it in by 1/2 inch and sewed on it. Yeah, so that is what you're going to do. You're just going to be tucking it in and then sewing on top of it. You tuck it in and then you sew. You tuck it in and then you sew. So that is how to finish the rough edge of the down side of your corset. So after doing that, remember the front, I did not fix the yoke. I am going to be sewing the yoke. I am going to be pinning the yoke directly on top of the cup, right? I pin the yoke directly on top of the cup, and after doing that, you are going to sew it on it, just like you saw that I sewed it on it. I went ahead to drape it on a mannequin so that it would be perfect. So if you are doing yours, please drape it directly on your client or a model or a mannequin that has your client's body. So guys, we are done with today's tutorial. See you in our next video. Bye.